Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I have a fun belated birthday card for you because sometimes life happens and we don't get our cards mailed in time, so this is a great way to save face. So on this card we have rats as a sentiment on the front, and we've got these little images of cute little rats and a grumpy birthday cat and some other accessories there. And on the inside, and yes, I did stamp it, I should have stamped it the other way, but on the inside it says, "I forgot your birthday, I hope you had an awesome day," and then you've got the rat with the presents for the grumpy cat. So I wanted this to kind of have a feeling of a comic strip, and I just got these new stamps from Craft, and you can find these stamps that I'm using today at our sponsor topflightstamps.com, and there's a coupon code in the video description to save you 10% on your order, and all USA orders over 50 ship free, so lots of different ways to save there. What I really like about this line of stamps is every time I grab a new stamp set, they all work well together. So I'm using these 3 stamp sets together, and we're going to use that with a frame stamp from Darkroom Door to make our little comic strip. I am working on Bristol board, which is a kind of like a cardstock that's really good for using markers, and I'll be using my Arteza Real Brush pens, which are a water-based marker. I have my VersaFine ink here, and this is fine for watercoloring, and basically it's because my Ranger archival's in my other studio, and so this is just handier for me. I'm going to stamp this right in the middle, and I'll trim it down later. It's better, I think, to work on a paper it's a little bit bigger than you need, because you can always trim it down, especially for something like this where you want to get a nice border around everything. You want to give your ink plenty of time to transfer. And there we go. Now, because VersaFine ink has a tendency to be very slow drying, even sometimes when you heat set it, it still takes a while to dry, I'm actually going to heat emboss my little frame here, and I think that will actually give it a little bit of a nice look. Now, I didn't do that on my sample card, but I did end up having to emboss the inside because the ink wouldn't dry on that paper. So I thought, well, this will help tie that whole theme around to the inside. So just sprinkle it with your clear embossing powder or black and heat set it. Okay, make sure you don't overheat it, because if you overheat it, it will go dull again. I mean, but at least it will be set, and you won't have to worry about it spilling on you. So now what we're going to do is use Post-it notes to mask off different areas so we can do our stamping. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this. In the first column here, I am going to write the word rats. I'm just going to do kind of block letters, and I apologize, you're probably not going to be able to see this, but just kind of think about like how a comic book strip looks and go that way. You just want to get kind of a kind of whimsical, fun look here. Doesn't have to be perfect. The less perfect it is, the better it's going to look. And then a dot, dot, dot. And then in the first column, I'm going to stamp the first cell, I'm going to stamp a little alarm clock. And I think I just need to mask the bottom for that. Now, when I'm using a smaller stamp like this, I'll just tap it on the ink pad. When I'm using a bigger stamp, I bring the ink pad to the stamp. There we go. And then we can keep reusing the same Post-it notes. The real reason to heat set the cells there is because we're going over with the Post-it notes. If you're going to reuse the Post-it notes, sometimes it will pick up the ink underneath, but if you heat emboss it, it can't. So that really helps that. Now, our little worried mouse, which one are we going to use? We're going to use him right here. And we do have to be careful to get his face in there. His nose got a little cut off on my previous one, so I am just going to try to eyeball it a little bit better this time so I don't cut his nose off. There we go, that's much better. I wanted him kind of looking up at the clock and then looking over at his cat friend right here. I don't want to stick a Post-it note over that just because his ink is still a little wet. And I did also stamp the cat face on another piece of Post-it note. If you know you're only going to be using a portion of the stamp, just ink up that part of the stamp. You don't need to waste the ink. There we go, and let's put that mask down there. Put a crown because it's a birthday girl or birthday king, whatever. And we want to get the presents in there too. So I got a little stack of presents. I'm not gonna use a whole stack, so I just need to ink up those top few. Masking is such a handy technique. You really should give it a try if you haven't done that before. So he's got some presents, but he's sad because his best friend hasn't visited him for his birthday yet. See, we're telling the story. We're telling the story with our stamping. We're gonna mask off this cell here, the back side of it anyway, and we're gonna get our running mouse who's running to try to save the day. I'm gonna ink him up. And then there's so many different animals and characters from Quetzalcraft that you could really have a lot of fun making these little kind of montages and comic books. I think it'd be fun to get the kids involved too. Or even that stamp, just stamping out the frame stamp and letting your kids, you know, come up with a story for that would be a lot of fun. I'm going to slide this over. So if you do get ink on your border, you can use an eraser to erase it. What I find works really well are the old typewriter erasers and the, or kneaded erasers. Anything that's got a little bit of like a grit to it will do pretty well when you get an ink smudge. And you could even use an emery board to sand off that top layer of paper. You just want to get that little bit of ink off. And it does seem to do pretty well. Definitely can save a card. And then I want to get him kind of in there, kind of kitty cornered. There. So, you know, turn the stamps around. You don't have to use them right side up. And there we have our outside stamped. Now for the inside of the card, I made a mistake, like I said before, on this one. I was for some reason thinking the stamp was going to go the other way, the card was going to go the other way. So I basically want to do this, but just have it upright. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And these are just pre-made card bases that I've been trying to use up. So this paper here, I noticed that the ink did not dry well on it, so I ended up heat embossing it. But it ended up working really nice because I really like the look of it. So we got our rat here. We'll put him down first. I always try to look at my stamp mount and try to keep it, him, like when I'm looking at the stamp, so it's going to be, if I have the stamp mount going down straight, then the mouse will be correct, because sometimes it's hard to tell when you flip it over and you look at just the foam. It's hard to see where things are going to line up. So there's a little tip for you, just when you're sticking your stamp onto your block, to use it, try to keep it straight up, because you can always see your edges on the mount, and that can help it be a little bit easier to figure. That one looks like I'm going to stamp it a little crooked, but I don't know, it's fine. Alright, so for this, you can tell right now, just by looking at that is not gonna dry. So I'm just gonna go ahead and heat emboss that. And I didn't use my embossing pouch on this, but I think it's gonna be alright. Because I forgot to do it on the other one, and it was totally fine. And if you do notice, because like this is the inside of the card, if you do notice that you've got all this stray embossing powder and it's gonna resist your markers, then just don't color it, you know, just leave it as is. Be real quick on this though, because it's real easy to overheat this on this kind of pre-made card base glossier paper. There, look at that. I think that's really pretty. Nice and sharp. When you are working with this ink, make sure your hands are clean. I got some ink on my hand and I smudged it, and I've been like cleaning up my ink mess for a few minutes here. So if you just take your kneaded eraser or whatever eraser you have, you can often just kind of pinch it and rub out your mistake. If you've got stubborn ink like I have on the inside of this card, you might need to use something a little bit stronger. But oftentimes you can get the smudge out, at least good enough to save the card. I think that's alright. It was pretty bad. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the coloring, and I am using the Arteza Real Brush pens, and they're actually really easy to work with, especially if you have the right paper. So I'm using, like I mentioned before, Bristol paper. You can use a smooth hot press watercolor paper, whatever you have. So one thing that I find to be really useful is if I know I'm going to be coloring, like if I have like a large area to color and then I have something smaller to color over it, then I will go ahead and put one light tone on everything, and then I will just go over and like I can go over the letters with a darker color, so I'll show you that. And that's the same thing we'll do with the presents, because they're like little boxes and they have you know, little patterns on them. So we do the same thing. Like if we're doing this polka dot box here, we just color that with yellow, then go over it with like a darker red or something. So, and that's what we're going to do here with rats. Now sometimes you may be using these pens and then you're like, oh, I feel like I've got this stray hair sticking out there. That happens sometimes. Just pull it out and then you're good to go. I think sometimes they don't all get like attached very well, but it doesn't, it's usually just like one on an odd marker and then it's fine. So if you do ever run into that with any of your real brush pens, just pull it out and you should be all set. If you want to lighten a color that you have in markers, an easy way to do that is with a water brush. So I can add a little bit of color there with my marker, and then I can quickly go in with my water brush and liquefy that ink and spread it around, so I end up with a more watercolor look and a lighter shade. So that way it kind of extends the amount of colors that you have. Like if you have like 48 colors, it can make it like you have 96. It can really extend what you have. And with a real brush pen as opposed to a felt tip pen, I can go into a wet wash and I can darken areas. So that's what these are really nice for. Now I'm going to go through and I am going to color these, and I will pop back in here and there when I've got something interesting to share, if it's not just a straight, you know, coloring something one color. To color the cat, we're going to use 3 different shades. I'm going to start with this kind of dark, it's like a burnt sienna, it's kind of like a warm reddish brown, and I'm putting some of that around the edges of the face and under the crown. Then I'm going to go in with a kind of peachy brownish orange color, and I'm going to go over the brown that I just did and work it inward, so that it's not, so that it blends out all of that brown and softens it, and then so that it's just not too bright of an orange. And I find that when you work, when you always keep one edge wet, like of whatever you're coloring, if you keep working into that wet edge and bringing it out, then you don't end up with hard edges. Now I'm going into that color I just had. I'm not going all the way out to all that brown, but I'm going into the orange with this yellow, and I'm trying to recycle the colors as much as possible. So these are all colors that I've used except for that brown. That one's new, but I try to just keep bringing them back in and reusing them throughout the thing I'm coloring, so that everything harmonizes, and then also I don't have too many supplies out on my table to get confused with. So that gives you that nice you know, subtle shading there that's nice and blended and looks good. And then for the mouse, and we'll do all the mice the same way, so I'm just going to show you how to color one and then I'll finish the other ones on my own. We're going to have 2 shades of gray, a light and a dark, and we're also going to use that really pale color we used in the middle of the face, and also a light pink. And it's not that light of a pink even, so it's not even like you need to have that many colors. So I'm going to go in with the dark first, and if you look at your stamped image, you'll see that there are some areas that have some hatching, which are those little lines that kind of tells you where the shading should be. So if you go in and you put your darkest color there, that just kind of helps you, so you don't have to think about it so much. It takes a lot of the guesswork away. And now I'm going to go in with a lighter color gray. Again, I'm going to color over that dark, so I kind of loosen up that ink, and then I'm going to pull the color around. So it's nice and subtle. It's just going to give me a little bit of, just a little bit of shading, nothing too drastic or difficult. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the pink and go in this ear right here. I don't want to put too much in there because it's actually quite bright. The pink is actually quite bright. And then I'm going to take this kind of tanny color and spread it out, and I'm also going to use that tan on the tummy, and that's how the mouse is colored. Okay, so you just go ahead and do all the mice like that, and everything else is just pretty much colored, you know, just regular. And like I said, reuse the colors. Like this yellow that I'm using here is the same yellow I used on the cat. It's the same yellow I used in this background. If you find that you've got areas that didn't blend as well as you want, grab your water brush, just make sure it's clean, or a wet brush, and just kind of go in and blend out some areas. So it's very forgiving. I think there's less of a learning curve with a water-based marker like this than there would be like with a Copics, just because you just blend it with water. You don't have, you can go back in and re-wet it a little easier than you can go back in and re-wet Copic. So it's just, it just makes it a little bit easier. So finish coloring up, and then we'll come back and finish the card together. Alright, I put some adhesive on the back of this little montage that we made here. I think it looks really sharp, and I'm putting that right on the front of our card base. And then we open it up, we have our stamping we did on the inside, which I've already colored. So it's rats. I forgot your birthday. Hope you had an awesome day. And then we've got the mouse with the presents. I think it's a lot of fun. I forgot to do my little dots here. And you know, if you want your colors brighter, you can always layer on again. And you know, really there's a lot you can do with just a simple stamp like these kind of comic strip like frames and the stamps you already have. You know, mix up your different characters and see what you can come up with, because I bet you could come up with some really interesting stories with the stamps that you have at home. If you want to find any of the supplies that I used today, I'll have them all linked up down below in the video description, including these stamps from topflightstamps.com. Don't forget to use the coupon code to save 10%, and that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and until next time, happy crafting!